How much money do you need to start an Amazon FBA online arbitrage business? And how much money do you need to scale an Amazon FBA online arbitrage business? This is two different questions, and this is something that a lot of people often mix up, because it's great to start an Amazon business. You do not need a lot of money to start an Amazon business, whether it is online arbitrage or not, and we are going to discuss about all those nuances in today's video. If you do not know me, my name is Mangunza. I release daily videos about selling on Amazon right there on YouTube. So if you are new, subscribe, like this video so you get recommended more videos, and you can finally scale your Amazon FBA business and learn the proper information that you need to scale, not all that BS. All right. So, okay, pretty quick. I'm going to answer the first question super fast. How much money do you need to start an Amazon FBA business? You do not need money. You can start an Amazon FBA business with literally, I'm like, okay, with really low money. All right, you can create an account for free if you do not get if you get an individual selling plan on Amazon. Just look it up. We're not going to talk about it. I mean, quickly, an Amazon FBA, when you create an account, an Amazon seller account, you can create one for free. It's called an individual plan, and you're going to need to spend $1 per unit that you sell. Is it $1.99, something like this? Or you can get a professional plan, which costs $39 a month. And you do not pay all that stuff. So, but you can really start for free, and you can start selling some books that you got for free. It's going to be a hustle. You can go to libraries if you want to and get some books. Okay, I mean, you're going to need to pay for shipping, but whatever. You can get that. You can deduct that from the money that you make. But you can get you can try to go to libraries and find products that they give away for free, and you could start selling on Amazon with no money. Okay, so at the end of the day, if we actually look at it this way, you do not really need money to start selling on Amazon. But the real question is, if you want to realistically start a business, because starting a business without money is always a dumb idea. All right, if you actually want to start a business, you should put some money towards it. It's going to simplify your life. You can start without no money, but to be honest, if you have no money, go drive for Uber, go deliver some food, or stick with your job for a little bit and save some money. All right, it's going to be one or the other. Starting a business with no money is really dumb. It's going to be saturated. And yes, you could, as I said, you could do it with Amazon FBA by selling used books that you get for free at libraries and stuff like that, books that they are throwing away. It's going to be a headache. Invest a little bit of money, stack up a little bit of money. So we are going to look at the numbers as well, because as I said, it's going to be how much money you need to start and to scale your Amazon business, right? Which is a little bit different. But let's just talk about online arbitrage. How much money should you get? How much money should you start online arbitrage with? There's one thing that you need to understand. By the way, yes, we are back on the whiteboard, all right? The glorious whiteboard. You are going to be able to see my amazing drawing skills once again. All right, so with online arbitrage, there's one thing that you need to understand. All right, let's say that your goal is to sell $10,000 a month, which is not a lot of money, and this is something that you need to understand, because the first thing that you need to understand is that $10,000 a month on Amazon is not a lot of money, because this is the top line. This is the top line. This is not the money that gets into your pocket. From that money, Amazon is going to take a cut. You need to buy products, so a big part of that is going to be shipping as well. There's going to be a lot of fees, okay? And the profit that you're going to get at the end of the day is probably going to be, as a beginner, okay, once you start understanding how to run the business, you should be able to run your business at 20% profit margins, okay? Which means that with $10,000 in sales, you're gonna make around $2,000 in profit, okay? Which is good. It's a good amount of money, right? I'm not going to spit on $2,000, but yeah, from $10,000 in sales, you're gonna make around $2,000. So depending on your business model, depending on how you run your business, it can be lower, it can be higher, depending on what type of products you find. When I was doing retail arbitrage, I had my margins, okay? My profit margins were closer. And once again, the lower money you have, the higher it is going to be to have high profit margins, right? My profit margins were closer to 30% when I was doing retail arbitrage, but I did not have a ton of money. I was sourcing a lot of clearance product that I used to get for super cheap. So it was way easier to get return on investment, and profit margins are two different things, but it was way easier to get return on investment around 100%, all right? if you do online arbitrage and you operate at scale, it's not going to be the same thing. All right, so this is the first thing that you need to understand. From $10,000 in sales as a beginner, you should be able to make $2,000 in profit. Okay, so now, how can I make $10,000 in sale? How much money do I need to invest? If you want to make $10,000, so whatever sales you want to have on Amazon, so in this case $10,000, how much money are you going to need to spend in inventory? If you do online arbitrage, you're going to need to be able you're going to need to spend half of that. Okay, half of this number, 0.5. You're going to need to spend half of that money in inventory. If you want to sell $10,000, you're going to need to spend around $5,000 in inventory. Does that make sense? You're going to spend $5,000, you're going to make $2,000 profit. Amazon is going to take $3,000 in fees, more or less. With a 40% return on investment, as a beginner, you should be able to do this. It's going to be, the numbers are going to be this, more or less. All right, so 40% return on investment, 20% profit margins. And if you want to reach a number in sale, you're going to need to spend half of that in inventory, which means that if you want to scale, and I would say that you start achieving some sort of economies of scale when you reach $100,000. I mean, you reach it a little bit lower than that, but scaling in most people's minds is getting to $100,000 a month in revenue, which if you're able to get 20% margins, which is, depending on how you run your business, is a little bit lower than, it's going to be most of the time a little bit lower than the margins that you're able to get as a beginner. Depending on how you run your business, if you run your business with VAs, what type of products you look at, if you include cashback or not in your profit calculation, you should be able to get around 20% margins, okay? 20%, which is going to be $20,000 a month in revenue. Before tax and before all that stuff, which is not going to, depending on your corporate structure, and a lot of stuff could be different, you know. But yeah, you should get $20,000 before tax, depending on how you run your business. I'm not an accountant, so you're going to need to figure out that stuff for yourself, okay? It's not my problem. But you're going to get around $20,000 a month, which is $240,000 a year, all right? So to be able to reach that point, and of course your margins could be lower if you run your business with a VA, with all that stuff. Could be anywhere in between 10 to 20% a month. With 20% profit margins, with 20% profit margins, I mean, you're going to need to do a lot of the work yourself, okay? I would get a lower profit margins and more free time to actually invest into other business and other stuff where my time is worth more money, okay? The Amazon business is not the end all be all, but let's say that you want to reach that point, okay? So you're going to need to spend $50,000 a month in inventory. And there's one thing that you need to understand, okay? $50,000 in inventory is just for 1 month. And so usually your inventory is going to take around 60 days to sell out. So it means that you're going to need to have at all time around $100,000. So let me write it for you, because I know that you guys like when I write those things really badly on my whiteboard. You're going to need to have around $100,000 invested. Not really $100,000 invested into the business, but you should have a spending power of around you should be able to spend $100,000 in 2 months, okay? Which means you should be able to spend 100,000, here we go, divided by 60, which is you should be able to spend $1,666 every single day. This is what you should be able to spend. Now, you can use credit, you can do all that stuff. You do not need to have $100,000 in cash to reach that point. You can use credit cards, you can use charge cards, you can do a lot of stuff. You don't really need this, but this is the point that you're going to need to get to be able to run your business this way, okay? You need to be able to spend $1,666 a day. That's how you're going to scale your business to that point, okay? So, no, the big question is, how do you get from this, okay, from zero first? How do you get from this to this? How do you reach that point? My dude, you're going to need to get a job, okay? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you like these other guys. You are either going to need to get a job, or you're going to need to come from money, or you're going to need to have a lot of credit available. All those three at the same time, okay? But just like from zero, like forget about this. Forget about this. Do not start an Amazon business if you do not have any money. If you have zero money, I'm sorry to tell you, you're not going to reach that point, okay? You're not going to reach that point. Your goal is going to be able to make $1,000 at least a month, and it's going to be a headache, because if you do not have money to invest in inventory, I mean, my dude, you're going to need to find a way to find some money, okay? You're going to need to find a way to at least invest $500 into that business. Without that, I mean, yeah, and the hardest thing is going to be to launch your business, because of course you do not need that amount of money. You do not need the $100,000. You do not need that money to start your business to reach that point. You do not need it. You're going to need to use some leverage, which is debt, okay? And some people sometimes in my comments when I talk about debts and all that stuff say that you should not get debts. At the end of the day, if you want to grow a business, you need some debts, okay? You need to leverage debts, okay? But it does not mean that you should start with $100,000. It's not necessarily the best way to do it. You need to start. You need to start somewhere, and because at the end of the day, let's say that you start. Let's just assume that you start with $5,000. Okay. How many times? Let's say that you're able to flip your money at 40% return on investment every 60 days. Okay, $5,000. How much time is it going to take you to be able to reach that point? I'm going to make the calculation. So according to my calculation, which are not mine, which are ChatGPT calculation, it should take you, if you start with $5,000, it should take you, if you invest all the profit and you're able to sustain at 40% return on investment, it should take you around 2 years to reach that point. But you need to invest all your profit, right? Once again, it's not my calculation, it's ChatGPT's calculation. If there's something wrong with it, just... I did not double check the numbers, but you guys, like, this is pretty much what it will take, right? So you can definitely reach that point if you reinvest all the profit, but you need to eat and you need to do all that stuff, and you're going to make some mistakes as well, and some months you're going to lose money, especially if it's your early days, right? So best way to do it is to actually leverage debt, okay? Debt. You're going to need to leverage debt. And of course, if you start with less money, then that's going to take you more time. But at the end of the day, this is something that you can actually reach. You can actually reach that point. Just give it a few years, put in some money. You can start with, I would highly recommend that you do not start with $5,000, okay? You should start with $1,000, $2,000, start it as a side project, reinvest all the profit, and soon enough, the business will be way higher, like your numbers will be way higher. It takes some time to grow a business, and it's actually fast to grow a business with Amazon FBA. Just trust the process, buy inventory, sell inventory, reduce your expense, invest as much money as you can, but start with low money, get proof of concept, and then inject more money into the business, right? Whether it is from your savings or from debt, okay? From debt, you need to know your numbers, but that's pretty much it. That's how you scale, and that's how much money you need, and that's how much money, that's actually how much money you will need to scale your Amazon business, all right? So hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, leave a like, do all that YouTube stuff. I'll see you tomorrow for a new video. Thank you for watching.